Hello everyone, Patrick Daigle of Blue Ribbon Flies here, tying up some crippled caddis. I figured I'd set the record button on and give you guys a step-by-step of this awesome bug that we have at the shop. First I'll start off by explaining the hook. It's a TMC 2488 in a 14. This pattern is effective anywhere from a 12 up down to a 20. In all honesty, it's a real versatile pattern. You can make the wings a variety of different colors. You can make the abdomen a variety of different colors. And the hackle can obviously be another color or combination of colors of their own. So it's a really versatile pattern. You can make it all sorts of different ways. And this way here, this method I'll be presenting to you is more along the traditional blue ribbon pattern. This particular pattern will call for Hydropsyche tan Zelon dubbing, brown hackle, either traditional or saddle, and let's see, we also have a Crippled Caddis crinkled Zelon for our wing. So aside from that, I think I just missed the thread. That's an 8/0 uni thread. This happens to be tan. So with that being said, let's get started here. I'll grab some dubbing and just simply dub on a modest amount, not a large amount and not a light amount. We can certainly go either direction, but I'm tying this to be kind of average here to show you or to give you that base reference. And what's nice about this dubbing here is that you get that additional sheen and bugginess from that trimmed Zelon that's mixed into this dubbing. Alright, so I'll begin by winding my thread, and once the dubbing begins to make contact with the hook, I'll actually wrap rearward to the very butt section of the abdomen. I even bring it down a few turns onto the curve here on this wide gap TMC 2488 again. I like the looks of it. It's my preference. And now I'll just wrap forward, finish off the abdomen, try to get a nice taper where it's a little thicker up towards the head. And now at this stage we're looking to tie in our wing. Again, that is Crippled Caddis crinkled Zelon. It's a mouthful. And I give it a little straightening by giving it a slight tug. And this seems to work a little better for me with getting all this material to be uniform and consistent. And I'll simply just double over a good maybe 2-inch or 3-inch portion here. And right where I have it pinched off is where I'll tie it in, just behind the eye, and just ahead of the abdomen. Give it a few wraps here. At this point it's secure enough where you can let go and grab that front loop and peel it back, making some good firm wraps here. Build up a thread dam in the front. A slight thread dam, not a very big one, but just enough to help lock this in place. Bring the thread back rearward again. We're actually going to take a few figure 8 wraps around the wing to help divide it and help keep it divided. This is something I do religiously with this pattern. Also with the spruce moth pattern that we'll be demonstrating a little bit later. At this point here I can take my wing and cut it, and I generally, with this shorter, wider gap hook, I'll go a little bit beyond the shank, and we'll leave that as it is for right now. Now at this point here I will grab my hackle, and if I can find it here in my pile. I thought I had it a little bit closer. I'll just quickly pick out a new one here. Yep. We have a whiting brown saddle. Trim that. Pull off a few barbules and allow that hackle stem to show. I'll simply lay the hackle in between the wings. Make a few simple flat thread wraps. I'll pull the loop forward, bring the thread forward, or pull the loop rearward rather, excuse me. Wrap the thread forward, At this point here, I'm ready to tie in the hackle. Generally 3 wraps will do it. And I'll bring the 4th wrap up right behind the eye, and at this point I'm able to slide the thread right behind the hackle and in between, in front of that Zelon there, and I've effectively secured it with that 1 wrap. Now additional wraps will really sock it down, and at this point I can feel free to break off my hackle. That works about 99.9% of the time. Definitely don't enjoy it when it breaks, but it very rarely happens. So I'll just trim off a few barbules here. Fly's practically done, with the exception of a good solid whip finish or 2. I am not one to glue all of my flies. I'll glue the big ones, I'll glue the special ones. Most often I'll just give it 2 solid whip finishes, and if the fly survives longer than that, so be it. Often enough though, I find you're lucky to get to that dozen point before they start really falling apart. Maybe the hackle breaks by that point or whatever. So the fly just needs to have the head trimmed here, the loop of Zelon. You can leave it extending over the eye, and the hackle here, we'll trim that flush with the hook point, or with the hook gap, and that allows the pattern to sit a little bit lower or more flush with the film, and helping to give that more crippled appearance. And that there, folks, is the Blue Ribbon Fly's Crippled Caddis. Hope you enjoyed this. I certainly enjoyed tying it for you.